another come drive to work with me video. Do excuse me while I pull off my drive. The noise you can hear in the background is my heater because my windshield is a little bit foggy this morning, because although the sun is shining, the weather is cold. Like so. So that will disappear in just a second. But yeah, how are you? Good morning again. In today's video, I wanted to talk about why I decided to leave the stability of a full-time income in a full-time job and go back to freelancing. And I would say that I'm definitely going back to it. This isn't a new career. It's something that I worked quite hard to try and get something out of for 10 years and didn't get very far, didn't make a lot of money. It led to extortionate mental health problems. So why am I going back? Why am I potentially risking it all again? In simple terms, the answer is I'm going to have enough money and it makes me happy. It makes me extortionately happy. I don't even have words for how happy it makes me. Working in that industry, I always knew that I was trying to split my loyalties whenever I was working in the past, because I'd be trying to focus and strive on these little costume jobs that I think the most I ever got paid for one was maybe £250, and I'd then be working part-time in a series of minimum wage jobs, either in retail or catering or customer service or bar work or things like that, to keep myself afloat. And I've said it before, I would resent I would resent the normal jobs that I was doing because they stopped me from doing costume. But I had to do them because I wasn't earning enough on costume. And at that time I was basically, you know, they say that if you take on unpaid work it only leads to unpaid work, and I would say the same is for low paid work. If you get a reputation of doing a fantastic job on shoots for very little money, then that's what you'll get approached for. At the time I was desperate to try and transition over into film and TV. I'd spent 5 years in theatre, again, also unpaid, and the assumption, although it will never ever be confirmed in the industry, is that if you've done one, you can't do the other because they're too different. But I would argue and say that actually there are skills that I learned whilst working in theatre that were highly applicable to film and TV, and it's just an attitude that needs to change. But there we go, I can't change the world in one day. We also, that's better. So, and also as well, I had a lot of debt behind me that was the driving force for me trying to work these part-time jobs. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to go about it properly, and the difference this time round is that I have the benefit of hindsight, so I can look back and go, well, I need to do this differently this time. I need to invest in this rather than this from a business point of view. You know, have a website and have a domain name, and, you know, don't try and pull a website together in a day. Take your time. There's no rush. There's no rush this time round because I already have a job lined up. So I have got warning that, you know, pretty much by the last week of Christmas, unless we overrun, I will need to have something else lined up. However, because the wage is so good, there's going to be no panic there. I can put myself ahead for a month, maybe a couple of months if I go on an emergency budget, and I will then be able to take my time, search properly for the right thing. I can go to interviews and not think, how, you know, am I going to have to police sickie for this one? Am I going to have to try and work extra to get the time off in lieu to do it? Have I got the money to do it? Because that was a problem as well last time. Because I never had any money, I'd look at it and go, well, I can't go to Hull tomorrow for 7 a.m. in the morning because I don't have enough money for petrol and there's no one around that I can ask. so I would rule myself out of jobs, and I suffered a huge confidence crisis because I genuinely believed that I was incapable of doing the role and that I wasn't any good and I was living in the wrong place. Whereas now, because I've had a year out, I was happy to wait. I don't think I was consciously waiting for a job like this to come along, but I always said, even when I had the interview, I did say, yeah, if Hollywood comes calling, I'm going back. This isn't Hollywood, by the way. I'm not going to Hollywood. But it was that kind of, I knew in the back of my mind, if on the slim off chance that it would never happen, if this opportunity was offered, I would take it. And I was coming up to a year anyway at my current job, and in that time you tend to know after about 3 months what the lay of the land possibly is. By about 6 months you kind of know whether you are 100% happy. Well, I pretty much knew by like 3 months that there wasn't going to be the advancement I wanted within the role, and the advancement also includes a wage increase as far as I'm concerned, and that, you know, for a year, maybe a couple of years, to get a good kind of like full-time normal job on my CV, that's how long I would stick it out for. So from January 2020, the aim was to start polishing up my CV, really having a think about what I wanted to move on and do next within a kind of business side, and a normal job, as I call it, side, because working in the arts and certainly film and TV is not normal. You need to have a certain kind of madness about you, and I do. Yeah, to tolerate things that you do in conditions which aren't really replicated elsewhere in any working industry in the Western world, it makes it, yeah, you've got to have a certain something about you, which apparently I have, and so I've been told. I don't like complimenting myself. And so I knew I was going to start looking. I didn't know if the role of buying was something for me, although I love living in Norfolk and Norwich. It was then a case of, well, do I want to stay living here? What jobs are there, etc, etc. So there was going to be change coming in 2020. I just didn't quite expect it to happen a year after I started working. And, you know, to be told by colleagues since I've handed my notice in that, you know, that the advancement wasn't there and you do work at a level which is completely above and beyond what the role currently demands, then that was, I don't know how I felt about receiving those comments, because it was very much a case of, well, why didn't you tell me before? It wouldn't have made a difference, I'd have still been there for 2 years. And then even if you look at the finance side, because this is a financial-ish video channel, why have I got an idiot in an Audi coming up behind me at 40 miles an hour on a 30-mile road? Sorry, and you're a female driver. Love, you're putting us to shame. Right, sorry guys. It's just, right, sideway. Does anyone notice how much of inches Audi drivers and BMW drivers are? Maybe it's just the UK, but every issue I have on the road is with an Audi driver or a BMW driver. Right, okay, we'll just transition back in, but leave your comments down below if you've noticed that's the case. And also, Seat drivers with attitude pretending that they own an Audi or a BMW. You're driving a Seat, love. You're not paying anywhere near the money that those guys are paying to justify acting like you are. It's fine. I'm perfectly happy in my 2004 Honda Jazz. Who's just got just as much engine power as that Audi. Okay, right, back to the money. Yeah, so from a financial point, you'll all kind of know how much by now my income was. Now, no matter how much I cut back, my rent was about a third of my income. So before I even start, I can't change that. I've fixed as much as I can in terms of a set price, but there wasn't much room for movement, and I was trying to build up my emergency fund, and I have been selling stuff since August. I've done a couple of like the odd day shoot here or there, but also at the same time, that's not guaranteed. I can't guarantee that I'm going to list an item on eBay, for example, and it's going to sell for what I want it to, because I always go auction. I never want to try and buy it now. We don't have kind of like consignment stores, so there's things like Facebook Marketplace. You could do I could do a car boot sale, but they're so hit and miss. And again, if this stuff isn't going to sell, or I get an unexpected expense, I think I calculated that if I wasn't able to make any additional income on top of my wages, it would take me 7 months to build a £1,000 emergency fund, which is ridiculous, because those 7 months are basically, I'm crying out for an emergency to happen statistically, and also with my luck. I guess I'm lucky that Murphy's happened and it was my car, but it could be anything, and I would have nothing set aside. And how many times do you go back to family and friends, cap in hand, going, I know I'm earning a full-time income, but I haven't got any money for an emergency, and this has popped up and I need X amount of whatever, pounds, dollars, food, petrol, and then you're always sitting there going, well, how far am I going to make £200 stretch, because I've also got X, Y and Z that also needs to be funded. Christmas comes around every year, and I also, just because my parents and grandparents have fantastic timing, have my brother and sister's birthdays at the beginning of November, I then have Christmas a month later, I then have my mum and dad's birthdays a week apart in the early February. So I have nothing else for the rest of the year, but it means then that my gifting fund, do excuse me, I'm at the roundabout of death. Pause while I try and make it across. Ooh, yep, done it. Ish. Hang on. And we survived again. It means that my gifting Christmas sinking fund, just by virtue of how close those dates are, has to be pretty much funded from February. There's no point if I were to start trying to fund a Christmas/present fund in January, it would be spent by February. So I've pretty much got an 8-month window to fund immediate family members' birthdays, and I don't spend a lot. It may only be £20 on each, but it's another £40. It's another 2 months savings in a month's, anyway, we'll work out those maths. So that's got to be funded. I've got things like my car MOT and car maintenance and car insurance that have got to be funded, TV licensing, car tax, all those things that are annual. And saying to myself, okay, I've got X amount of months I'm going to put aside for Christmas/birthdays, car tax, MOT, health insurance, national, whatever. That's the £200 done. I've not even started on my emergency fund. So yeah, and with the virtue of this job, I am going to be able to fully fund my emergency fund immediately. I can put myself ahead. I can put aside a small pot to cover things like travel for interviews and business investment and things like that, which I never had before. I can put myself ahead by a month. I can make a slightly larger payment to my debt, and I can probably fund Christmas and birthdays in one go. So that's done, and that frees up money for the rest of the year. And I'm always it's weird, but I was trying to get myself in the mindset. Ooh, I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I was trying to get myself in the mindset of working with a monthly budget, but my income was irregular for so long that it was really hard to get past I've got all this money in my account, and it would just be gone in a day. By the time my standing orders and stuff would come out, I'd be sitting there going, where's my money? I worked a whole month, where's my money? So financially, the difference in wages does have a large impact. It was a major deciding factor. I'd say probably of the two deciding factors, one was the fact that it's the dream job and the dream opportunity, and the other was the money. And if it hadn't have been enough money, I don't know that I would have taken it, because I knew going in I would have to hand my notice in, and I would want that comfort there to do it. And once I know that I can disclose my wage, I will say, just to put it in perspective. But I don't know that I can just yet, so that information will be coming. And we're almost at work. We're entering the village, going over the bridge. So yeah, that was pretty much the reason why, although the long ramblings and things like that, mainly because I don't have a script to hand or any structure, I just thought, no, just film it this morning. That's why I've decided to move. I'm going to restart my career. I am going to go in with zero expectations that I will be able to roll on to another job in the industry, because that was a problem last time as well. I fully expected that I'd be able to. When I didn't, I was like, what's going on? What's wrong with me? I'm fine, I'm great. And so I'm going to have zero expectations and a plan in place. I'm going to have more money over a 7.5 week period than I've ever earned in my entire life, and it will feel really, really good when I can transfer over, £1,000 and put that in that pot. There will be a video coming up in November about paying off my consumer debt, and I can't do that video until November, and I will go into reasons then. And I'm now pretty much at the end of my first working week. I've got 2 weeks left on my notice. I'm driving up to Shropshire. I'm off work tomorrow. I'm driving up to Shropshire this weekend. Oh, I forgot about the emergency traffic lights. Right, okay. I'm driving up to Shropshire this weekend. So, the plan is to take minimal money, so there's minimal expenditure, and then because my mileage is being reimbursed, I should then get more money back. So yeah, a little bit of risk taking. I will fill up fully with petrol before I go, take enough for another tank of petrol, and yeah, we'll do that. So that is good. Next weekend I'm down to London with my sister. That will be an expense, and I know that's going to be an expense, but it's something that it's partly what I'm selling stuff for, and that's going to be kind of, I guess, our last chance. It's her birthday coming up as well, so that'll be, I won't get to see her or my brother over their birthdays unless scheduling works out okay, and I also probably won't get to then see them before Christmas. So it's going to be really good, and I think I mentioned in another video anyway, we're both cheapskates, so as many free things, like literally today on my lunch break I'm just going to be searching for free stuff to do in London, because London is expensive. Let me tell you now, guys, it's expensive, it costs money. Don't take a card, or don't take a credit card, you'll blow it. Just have a plan of where you're going to go, what is in the area, and take cash. And I say take cash because once that money is gone, you will have probably bought your travel tickets anyway, so you're fine to get home. Plan where you want to eat, look what offers there are on, and in terms of food, look for vouchers, and yeah, Google free stuff, because there is so much free stuff to do. We're not traditional tourist trap people. We'll never go on the London Eye, because I cannot stand heights, but also and places like the Tower of London, it's alright for a castle, but I could drive out half an hour and see an amazing free castle that's totally cool to explore, and I would much rather go and do that, because that's how we were brought up. That's what we did on our school holidays. So look, my tips are going to be, and my aim is going to be, looking for free stuff to do. We'll try and find as many charity shops as possible, or thrift stores as possible. We know they're going to be a little bit more expensive because they are just London generally, and that's London prices. But yeah, she won't be spending a lot of money. She's trying to save for a deposit on a house, and I won't be spending a lot of money because I won't have a lot of money, and there will be a lot going on. So yeah, I'm now in work. I'm probably going to hit 20 minutes exactly. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. I have an Instagram account, it is at She Starts Saving. Leave your comments down below, and I will see you in the next Drive to Work with Me videos. And yeah, not 20 minutes exactly. Never mind guys, see you later. Block the sunburst. Bye.